Alright guys, we're talking about the Twilight Zone, Season 5, Episode 8. So what did you think about this episode?
I think we're going to have a long argument.
Alright, so let me hear your thoughts.
I liked this episode.
Okay, what did you like about it?
This episode is bad, and I don't like it, but I like this episode.
This is a classic from what
is
I
it?
remember.
Oh, damn.
I remember this episode, and
I did not remember this at all. Is it?
With that, like, weird Robbie the Robot
I was going to say,
motherfucker.
like, it being Robbie the Robot and it being so, like, on the nose and whatever, I'm, like, not into that part.
I think this would have been a much better episode, like, you know, then. So the things I loved Uncle Simon's fucking how he insulted her.
Oh
and
my
shit.
god.
What he's like, you squared off rutabaga or some shit like that. Like
that's so close that it's so amazing.
What do you
have to say for yourself now, my angular turnip?
Yeah, angular turnip.
You're the only woman who, under her clothes, looks as if she wears more clothes. Like, he was amazing.
All
he was
his
like
insults were so good.
He was like Statler and Waldorf, like, up in the balcony. He was an amazing.
Just ripping this bitch apart.
And, like, her performance, too, her, like, face and stuff. Like, I liked those two characters a lot.
No, and
like,
again, like in most Twilight Zones, the thing that I latch onto, the things that I like, is, like, the monologuing, the talking, the vernacular of the time.
Yeah.
I think that stuff's great. And when I say I think this episode's better then than it is now, is that it's telegraphed like a million miles away.
Yeah.
So like you don't get that fun twist or really any thought about this. Like you don't walk away going, oh, what would I do if I had a robot in the basement that was like I would. It's not a scenario that you could ever come across or really have fun with.
Not like literally, but this is one of the few that I think rises to like a level. And I'll be pretentious now for several minutes.
All right, what do you got?
Like he spent like so like she comes in and she spent. I wrote all this down, but
25 years.
I'm not going to read any of my notes because that would be cheating, and I'd actually sound like I was like competent or whatever. But yeah, she spent 25 years like waiting for him to die, and then he like knew and was like punishing her the whole time, and he spent the same 25 years plotting, a way for her to not even win and like to still be punished even after his like death or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. And this is this like beautiful. I even started thinking about it like maybe when she first got there, she was just kind of like wanting to help him, and then over the years he could have turned it into this twisted thing, and she could have like fed into it and just been like, well, now I do just want you to die, you old miserable fuck. And it could have been this like amazing, like you can look at it all these different ways. I think that it has parallels to real life when people are like, oh, once this happens then my life can start, right? And this is this cautionary dangerous tale of like maybe even when that that thing happens, maybe even you like still won't be able to be free or like do whatever you want or like move on from it or something like that. I think it's a super real and like a dark thought and like process.
Well, I will agree. It is real. There are like things that can directly relate to like nowadays or anything. But I still don't know if that makes it good.
No. That's what I mean.
That just means that like and.
So
and you could say it's deep, and that's what makes it good. But just being deep doesn't make you good.
Well, no, but I like what it's doing, and to me it is good. I think.
I know you like it. But what I'm saying, I guess what I'm saying is your rationale for liking it.
Like the fact that it's
the
fact that it's a Robbie the Robot is like awful to me, and I hate that it's that, right? So to me that's just like a stand-in for the fact that she doesn't get like her way. I do like how the robot like slowly turns into him even by accident or whatever.
She cripples it, then has a cane.
And I'm like, oh my god, it's walking around with a cane, also insulting her.
Who
and all
patched
that stuff.
the leg?
Yeah.
Like who fixed it? Did it
no
fix
idea.
itself?
Yeah.
Why does it even want hot cocoa? It can't drink.
The whole time I was like, what are you doing with that hot cocoa, right?
Are you lubing your gears with it? Like, what's happening here?
Like while watching it, I think I didn't like it, and then as I thought more about it, I ended up liking it more and more because I really like how like he's laying at the bottom of the stairs, still kind of not even dead, and she runs through the house and like smashes the china cup and knocks over some inventions, and she opens the windows and she's like, yes, I
thought
finally
that was
did
stupid.
It.
I'm like, yes, for the house you just inherited, you're gonna have to clean all that shit up.
It's her like
rebelling, her showing her true
she's
colors.
like throwing off the bonds of everything that he made her do.
But there are things that should just be like they shouldn't be literal. Like
no, that's what I said in the intro. I said like it being Robbie the Robot and it being so on the nose definitely makes it like not great. But I still thought it was like there's a lot of Twilight Zone episodes that don't work on any level, but this has a level where like it works really well for me.
Had you removed the guy playing like Uncle Simon, like it wasn't this guy who was just ripping this bitch apart, the episode would have not much for me at all. But those parts were almost so strong that like that it's right up there with like you're a potato pancake, like it's some really good like dialogue.
You can't afford the chassis, you can barely afford the headlights, and you're just like, oh, I love this old timey.
Like that part was great for me.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's been any like parodies of this or things that I can remember in common stuff. But it seemed so like I'm like, yep, that's exactly what's gonna happen. Yep, this is what's like.
No. This is a super common like even just the
but
whole.
But it's not an episode that I can remember watching.
Yeah.
Well,
you said this was like a famous. Yeah. Have you seen this elsewhere? Like
no,
as like a famous
I like
episode,
remembered the things, but it's not something where I'm like I remember beat for beat. This is how it went down. This is the thing. Like it's just like this is something where I know that this is a class.
This is a famous episode?
I'm sure if you looked like, what are the top 20 whatever's, Uncle Simon would be in there.
Interesting.
But
that kind of shocks me, but I guess it makes sense.
It's not like there's something on the plane where I'm like, oh yeah, that's been aped and done a million times. Yes. But it still felt so like, yes, of course, you're beating the dead horse. This is going to happen.
Yeah, I did not
The first time, though, in
1960,
I'm sure this was like, holy shit, oh my god, this poor bitch.
No, and even because she's a monster too. Like that's the angle that I like is that these two monsters just found each other and then tortured each other, and one of them even died, but the torture keeps going. Like that's what I'm into, and that's what I want to see in my fiction is this human ugliness and shittiness.
The thing I hate is just like yes, after you've invested the 25 years, it's kind of like the point of no return. You can't now leave and start a new life, but you could.
No,
but
she's not.
She is stuck. But at the point when she puts the robot over, she's already committed to in quotes killing the robot. I don't know why she didn't finish it. Why do you have one act of defiance? I should say two, because you did smash all his china. And you killed him, so three.
There's a list, but hey.
So but why stop there? If you're willing to kill the actual man, if you're willing to attempted murder the robot the first time, I don't see why you didn't just get everything you ever wanted. Because if the robot fell, the guy who's in charge from the bank wouldn't say like, oh no, you didn't he didn't yell at her because the thing fell and hurt its leg. So if it died, proving that it could fall again, it didn't tell on her either. So I'm like, what are we going on for here?
I wish that they hint at something.
If it just had a malfunction of a fuse fucking blew, nobody could fix it. A genius built this.
So I don't know what the
she could have got out of this pretty easy, I think.
We are meant to believe, and before I forget too, even the trope of the will had a special clause or whatever, right? That's something that's happened a lot. I don't know back in this day if that was as common or if that was a thing, but we've seen that a million times too and all that stuff. So I don't know what the will literally said. It was something about care for the well-being of it. The last time the lawyer or whoever guy comes to visit, he says, it doesn't talk much, does he, or whatever, and then she goes, he makes his needs known or something like that. She says something. So I think the robot is intentionally lying to the guy because it wants to prolong the situation and torture and all that stuff. It's doing it on purpose. It doesn't tell on her because then that would ruin the whole fun of the whole thing or whatever.
I think you could have just as much fun making her a poor homeless bitch.
No, he wants her to be stuck in that exact same situation to as close as possible. At first I was like, is it using his voice or is she just hearing it like that? I'm not sure.
I think what could have been better is if instead of it just that he programmed me to blah blah blah, if it would have been he downloaded his subconscious into me and slowly booting up and becoming the human mind.
I think if Jordan Peele redoes this one, that'll be it, and it will be,
because it would have been nice to end with what was her name, Karen? Whatever her fucking name was. I'll say Karen for the purposes of me saying the story. Karen.
Barbara. It's Barbara.
Barbara. So it's no, Barbara. I am Simon.
No, exactly.
You thought you could kill me, didn't you?
You will call me Uncle Simon. Yeah. If Jordan Peele redoes this one, it will be a robot for a long time, but then it will start to kind of talk like Uncle. It'll become actually just, no, Barbara, because you're this trollop, and it'll start going off in this whole thing. Yeah. It'll be there's something here, and again I like the ugliness so much.
It would end with her killing herself.
Or
it would be a thing
and then she has a robot.
No, I wanted it to be a thing where like the robot has a suitor come over, like, why are you setting me up with Barbara? Because I'll need someone when you're gone, Barbara.
Barbara. Yeah. Barbara. He had a way of saying Barbara, yeah. Yeah. No, like, I like the actresses.
He's like British and she's not.
Yeah. I like the actresses collapse and all that stuff, because she like gets dressed up and she's like mocking the robot and she's like, if you need some oil or something, fucking get it yourself, bitch. And she's like, you fat dink. She's like going off, and then like she starts to dress the way she used to, and like the windows have to get like everything falls apart and gets stripped away, like bricks being walled up into like the well, and she's back in her dark hole. Like, I love that. I'm so into that part that I can't hate this episode.
I hate it because it's just
no, I know. It's not good. I'm not saying that it's like,
one of those
good.
things where it's like, why, like, it's a convenience of plot scenario thing, because like a lot of the stated meant things before, like why would she fall back into the same routine with this robot that holds no actual power over? But that's it's just plot convenience, and I don't like that.
It's like exploring this from
I would have liked her to try
to
like I guess it's only 22 minutes. You can only do so much, but to try to rage against the robot and to fail or to keep something there and so to have nothing happen and kind of just go like right back into it. It just feels cheap to me.
No, I think,
but again, it's 22 minutes. It's very old.
I think in the Jordan Peele version, again, if and when that happens, and that's like a proxy for like if they remade it or whatever. In like the Black Mirror version, you would have her doing stuff. And like we would demonstrate to the audience that like the robot is actually triangulating. He is playing the lawyer against her. Because that's part of his.
Steps ahead.
I have another craving to make your life miserable, bitch. Like there'd be this thing where like it is very abundantly clear to us that like if she doesn't play along with him and get him hot chocolate that he has no way of drinking, then he's gonna say shit to like the lawyer, and then she's gonna lose this like gig or something like that.
Of course.
Or there'd be some external plot device to make it more apparent, besides the 25 years of like crushing whatever, of like why she doesn't just leave or something like that. Like you could develop that stuff more and get more out of it too. More exploration of the psychology and the physics.
But like what's annoying is, so while she's still the slave and like in quotes, and has to do all the things he says, I half expected her to say yes, master, when she said yes, uncle. But she does have the full control of the money, the assets to build.
Like, she'll be fine.
So, like, while she can't open the windows or whatever, she has the same amount of freedom she had before, except now she has a huge fucking wallet. But they kind of totally downplay that like that's nothing.
Well, because what she wanted was
freedom.
Was to open the windows and, like, to not be under the control of this horrible guy that
assaults her. As a
person
who can't understand anyone wanting to open the windows,
you have to have empathy.
I don't see a problem there.
Well, it's not literally opening windows. It is just a stand-in for, like, I want to do what I want to do, and once you're dead, you miserable bastard, I can finally do it, and then can't. And like, usually there's not a robot. Usually people find some other excuse why they can't actually live their lives, right? So like they finally get the divorce, but then they find someone else that's also shitty to them, and they fall into the same
like they finally get the divorce,
again,
but now they have to pay all their own bills, and they have to live in a small apartment working 2 jobs a day or something, and can't get to that thing. But my issue with this is
the end of Very Bad Things, where like, oh, we did the thing, and now they're like in wheelchairs and everything's like horrible, right? And Cameron Diaz just like screams or starts crying or whatever the fuck, like stuff like that. We're like, okay, we can get from here to there, and then everything will be fine, and then you finally do, and then it's not, right? That whole
my issue is that hers would just it's a plot convenience thing. Like, she has full access to the money, she could just cash it all out and leave. She only loses the funds if she mistreats the robot.
It's in trust, and she gets the interest or something. Like, that could have been a lot clearer, obviously, yeah. But the point is that she wouldn't. No, they devote a lot of time to the fact that she can't leave, or else she loses it, or she can't.
Yes,
do this,
but if you already but that's assuming you couldn't
but
just Brewster's Millions and spend it all or leave with it.
She could like go out on the run or whatever, but she would then violate the thing, and then she like all that money would now be owed to like the state university or like wherever it went.
Anything that's left.
It doesn't work like that. Otherwise, this wouldn't make sense.
That's my issue with it.
I don't think it works like that though, because if you get this like there are like stipulations in the will where like X amount of dollars would then be owed to somewhere else, like
how
legally.
much money do you think she
like
needs,
you would have
though?
like you would have like stolen the money or whatever.
No, but this guy, no, you would violate, you would lose whatever's there. The interest on a millionaire's account is huge, especially in assuming this is actually taking place in the time it is taking place and not earlier. Which
he has like a ton of money or whatever.
So I would wager she could stick it out for a few years at the worst, and then just leave.
I suspect the way that it would have worked is that like the cops would then be after you because you stole that money, like in effect. Because like
I don't know that's how it works.
You don't actually get the money unless you comply with the like wills in fictional
like
stories are always weird or whatever.
Where you're getting paid your paycheck.
I don't know if it works like that.
And then once you quit the job, you don't get any more money, but you get everything you had.
Possibly, I don't know.
100%.
I don't know based on what he said about the will. He said all this is stipulated by the following like things.
Yeah, if you violate the terms, we will take the rest of it. And
he doesn't say the rest of it. He says the money.
Yes, but the money you already spent is gone. That's not how math works.
You can spend it. That's fine. And I don't know what she could spend it on. She could like slowly start securing something somewhere else.
All the money she could just keep saving. She has no bills.
Potentially, I don't know. There's like, so like whether or not that's literally true, I don't know if you can make a will that can prevent that or not. But obviously, for the purposes of this story, that's not possible.
Well, that's what I'm saying is that I think my exact wording was it's just convenience of the story.
Well, like robots aren't possible either, but for the purposes of this story,
robots are possible.
This robot is not possible. That's what I'm saying.
But if I'm assuming the problem with anything where we're already making an assumption is then making so many other assumptions just to make that thing work.
If you can believe a robot, I think you can believe a will that's going to prevent her from ever leaving. That's like much easier to believe.
But the problem is she's not actually trapped by a gun. She could just not take the money and leave.
And that's where her like fatal character flaw of feeling like she's entitled to all this because she spent the 25 years earning it. Comes
but
into play.
Flip side in this world is that there's nothing holding her from not leaving, because if she stays, the robot will outlive her. She's never getting that money.
That's the point.
So there's no reason to ever stay.
There was no reason to stay before. Now she's staying
before there was a reason to stay.
Because someday he would die and she would get everything or whatever.
That was the only reason to stay.
Okay, that most recent point makes sense. Everything else, I still maintain whatever I said. Yes.
But knowing what I just said, none of this makes sense as to why you would stay.
Well, she's staying
just to have the roof over your head.
Yeah,
and be miserable.
She says like, well, where else would I go, or something like that, right?
Anywhere.
No. Like she could leave, but it's like watching a story about like a woman who's being like abused by her husband, and then say, why doesn't she just leave or whatever? Right?
Well, because in those scenarios, and again, this is a broad thing. Like, that guy might find you and kill you. And granted, you could maybe get away.
But that's not the only reason.
No, but what I'm saying is, in this one, there's no other scenario where like it's not going to track you down and like submarine you.
I don't know what it would do. We could make up anything we wanted at that point.
That's the problem.
I'm saying,
not a fan of this episode, aside from the direct dialogue.
That. No, and I said early on that like there are like issues that I have with like how stuff is executed or like used, but I like all the stuff that I liked about it or whatever. And I also said I expect a long fight, so I got everything I wanted out of this episode of the Twilight Zone.
All right, guys, so that was this episode of the Twilight Zone. Let us know in the comments below what you thought about it. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.
Hello, internets. I just love watching JustDaggers. If you've enjoyed this video as much as I have, click that subscribe button. Peace out, homies.